Hit it. You want to bring us in?
Yeah. I like to have this a little bit out of the intro because this is my right here when it gets all.
It's the drop.
It is the drop. It's my favorite part of the track. Actually, the whole track's my favorite part of the track. Thank you, Coldsnap. Or thank you, well, for your track.
Thank you, well. Is it with 3 wells or 2 wells?
3 wells.
Well.
Thrice well. Well. Thank you very much. That's Pete Butler.
All right.
Yeah.
So what are we here? We've got a podcast dropping. How long's it been since the previous episode of the Pagan Place podcast?
It's been at least 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. So I've been on a bit of a hiatus. I'm sitting here with John Ford in his lovely podcast studio from the 4-story walk-up.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the most recent guest. This guy.
That's right. Yeah. Comeback episode.
It is a comeback episode.
This is going to blow up your numbers so much. You're going to get double-digit downloads, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely will get at least 20 listens.
So, yeah, Pagan Place podcast. This isn't my first appearance. I've done it two or three.
Yeah, so this is your third time on the podcast.
Yeah, we go way back. We didn't talk about it on the podcast, but you know, we used to do the H to the C radio show / podcast. That's back in the day.
That's where we both cut our teeth on the audio realm.
We split off. I'm a comedian now. I do a comedy podcast. Over COVID, I went a little crazy and did a political podcast briefly. But
I enjoy life, so I decided to do a little more about music.
What's your podcast, Kalen?
Mostly revolving around music. I mean, for those who are mostly John Ford fans, welcome to your introduction to the Pagan Place podcast. Mm-hmm. Mostly revolving around music. Sometimes I get other artists on. I've had adventurers on. I've had people that just like to talk to me about stuff.
Asking them the hard questions. Where do you get your ideas from and such?
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's the pitch for my people to listen to your podcast. What's the pitch for your people to listen to this podcast that has me?
Well, you tell me, John.
Well, for the first time ever, I'm going to be on a podcast talking about myself.
For the first time ever.
So that's a special treat for you. We recorded this last week. It's mainly, checking in. It's been a little while. So just talking about comedy in general, but specifically about No Jokes Barred, which is celebrating its 10-year anniversary this month. Big show coming up on Saturday, June 15th at Wasted Day. So on the podcast, we talk about No Jokes Barred. I didn't get a chance to listen to it back. Is there any other tantalizing teases?
We talk about the history of No Jokes Barred, how you got your humble beginnings,
how I've got my egotistical endings.
Yeah,
humble beginnings to egotistical endings.
Luckily, you didn't go out of blazing glory.
Well, maybe come to the show. Maybe this will be my final performance, and I'll just explode myself on stage. We'll get one of those. I was gonna say battle royale callers, but that doesn't work. We'll say the Squid Game. We'll do that. They have exploding head collars on that show, don't they? I don't remember. Anyway, that's a only a couple of years old reference.
Yeah, we're not ruining anything for you.
If anybody is under 2 years old, then they might not know it, but they shouldn't be listening to the podcast.
No, they probably shouldn't be listening to either of our podcasts.
They should be sticking to Baby Mozart.
Yeah.
And all that
Baby
stuff. Baby Shark. Bad Baby. All of the babies.
Yeah. If it's got baby in the name, it's probably safe for your children.
It's appropriate for your 2-year-old child. Yeah. So yeah, we check that. It's on. Where can they find this podcast, Kalen?
All over the place.
It'll be linked on this somehow.
Yeah, anywhere you stream your podcast, you can find the Pagan Place podcast. You can also check us out on Facebook. Just look up Pagan Place podcast and Instagram. I shouldn't say anywhere because it's really just those places.
Yeah, if you normally find your podcasts like underneath a mossy rock in the river, you're not going to find this one there.
Well, you might. You might. I'm working on
It depends
something.
which rock.
I'm
and which
working on
river.
something. Yeah.
Get that deal. With
I recently acquired a singing stone, so you can sing into the stone, and then it starts broadcasting you to the other singing stones all around the world.
Okay.
So if you're fortunate enough to find one of those singing stones that I've hidden across the planet, you might be able to tune in without using the internet.
Probably easier to just use Spotify.
Probably just easier. I mean, I wouldn't recommend Spotify. I would go to other podcast stream services. That's just me. But we're not here to talk about politics.
The politics of which podcast app to use.
Yeah.
It's a contentious topic in 2024.
It is.
Friendships have been tested, relationships destroyed.
Paychecks not received. Spotify, get on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You get a paycheck for a podcast? Oh my gosh.
You think Spotify is going to give me more than 2 cents? Fat chance.
I've not made 2 cents on a podcast yet. I'm still waiting.
I'm still waiting too. Spotify, get on it.
But we'll get their $10 advance or $15 at the door.
I'm looking forward to the show. I mean, it's 10 years of accumulated humor boiled down into a residual stain in a pot that I'm going to go and enjoy.
We've got some no jokes barred ringers on here. We've got some people that have been there since day. I think the only person on the lineup other than me who was on the very first show is Matt Richardson, but that's a special appearance. He's from Miramichi. Doesn't often make his way all the way down to St. John, but he's making a special trip down to be part of the anniversary. Shane Ogden's been doing comedy forever. Thane Fox, I put him up on No Jokes Barred for his first set when he was 17 years old that I was disappointed that he said out loud into a microphone when he went on stage at the R Bar.
Thane, what were you thinking, buddy?
And, everything in between. Brian Godso's my co-host on 4-Story Walk Up. He wasn't there all the way from the beginning, but he was an early adopter. Eric Chason, somewhere there in the middle. I don't know when he started. Mike Rogers started doing comedy, I don't know, I'm going to say 5 years. I'm just going to pull out of my butt.
That's like your go-to number, isn't it? It's like every time you got to pull out a year span, you're like 5.
Yeah. It's got to be a round number. It's going to end with a 5 or a 0. So David Miles Holland Hall, I don't know. He probably longer than Mike. I'm gonna place David Miles Holland Hall somewhere in between Brian Godso and Mike Rogers.
Esquire. He should be an Esquire. That sounds so much better than Baron. He needs to be an Esquire.
All right. Well,
David Miles Holland Hall, get on that. Get your Esquire on there.
We need one more. Yeah, you need to have that. You need to have a 5th word in the name. For everybody to
don't
say.
have 4 names if you're not going to have like a title at the end of it.
Yeah. So, do we have anything else to say about the podcast?
I think you just need to tune in, listen to us talk about the history, the upcoming show, a little bit of banter, as John is known to be deliciously good at.
Yeah, and this isn't just an infomercial for the show. That's a good listen, even if you don't live in St. John.
Yeah, and both of our podcasts are a good time. I enjoy doing mine. I don't listen to mine too much, but I do enjoy tuning into yours when I...
4-Story Walk-Ups also has been in a hiatus for a little over a month. It's coming back, though.
So if you need your fix,
I don't know when
this is the good way to
get.
You can get an hour.
Probably, if this comes up as soon as possible, 4-Story Walk-Up's happening tonight. If it's not posted today, then it's already up, and you can go check it out.
Well, we'll get it up today.
All right.
I'm going to commit you to doing a bunch of work.
All right. All right. Well, Kalen.
John,
thank you for coming over to do this.
Yeah, thank you for having me in your amazing bunker down here. I like it. Your simulated natural light's pretty delightful as well.
Yeah, it's very natural. I probably could have just opened the curtains and it would have been enough light, but we usually record under the cover of darkness down here, so if we need that better lighting for the green walls, we can create CGI backgrounds.
Yeah, you can have...
I don't know how to do that in OBS, though.
Well, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
So, take us out with some tunes, Kalen.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
We'll just continue playing the same one, probably, I assumed, is what we were going to do. So
that was a sudden jump. Here, let's do that again. You go. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready?
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me, John.
Thank you for having me on yours. So check out the Pagan Place podcast. Come down to the No Jokes Bar 10-year anniversary this Saturday, June 15th at Wasted Day.
Yeah, it's going to be a heck of a time.